Yo! How's everybody doing? Sunday morning, going to church on a Sunday morning. I like this church. It's the music's awesome. You really feel, I mentioned this before, you really push down hard when you're in that church. So anyway, what I want to talk about today is kind of like, I'll call it the inner knowing, you know? And what I really mean by that is just when you're presented with something and you kind of say, it's true, or it's false, or I want to do this, or I don't want to do this, right? There's just something else that's making you make that decision versus your traditional way of doing it, which might be, you know, using your thought process and these logical paradigms that you kind of tap into and blah, blah, blah. It's something else. It's like a higher intelligence, right? Some people might call it your gut, you know, that feeling in your gut. Some people might call it your instincts. Some people might call it the still small voice within. Some people might call it the Holy Spirit. This guy's driving aggressive on a Sunday. Jeez Louise. Some people might say it's just like deep in your nethers. You know, you do these things, you make these decisions, you have these feelings about things, you don't really know what it is, but you know that you're passionate about it, or you're just tapped into it, and you're just like, no, you know. It could be something like you go to this, like somebody's like, hey, do you want to go to this place? They invite you somewhere, and you're just like, no, for some reason I just don't really want to go there. Or maybe you're just like, I really got to go get this product for whatever reason, I just need it, and then turns out like it's something that you really did need, and it's helping you out a lot. It could be something like as silly as I lost my keys, and like somehow you just looked in the oddest area that you never would look in, and whoa, there were my keys right there. You know what I mean? It's this higher intelligence that you're tapping into, and you know, everybody does it. But the thing is, as you do it more and more, and as you have more faith and as you trust it, and a lot of this is just refining your ability to discern. Discernment being that you can look at a situation and you can analyze it, and then you can say, okay, you know, this is true, or this is false, or this is preferable because of this, or this is less preferable because of this, right? So it's not really a judgment per se, good or bad. It's just like picking apart and giving analysis about it, right? So as you learn to do that skill more and more, that discernment skill, it's interesting because you really start to kind of get in contact with that still small voice within it, kind of that inner knowing and that kind of Holy Spirit guidance, you know? Some people even call it guidance to a degree, right? I've heard that term used as well. So what I'm trying to say is it's a weird one for the world that we live in, because nobody's going to believe you when you're just like, well, I was looking at this thing and this is it. And they're like, well, how'd you come up with that? And you're just like, I don't know. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you shouldn't research into things and, you know, take your time and do your due diligence and any of that kind of stuff. I understand that completely, and I recommend you do that, honestly. But there's just these certain points and moments and times and situations where you just tap into it and you just say, it's this. And you can't explain it. And if somebody was to walk up to you and ask you to give you a, you know, your dissertation on it, you wouldn't really be able to. But then, you know what? Lord and behold, you were right. You know what I mean? Oh, just a lucky guess, right? Well, maybe not. So what I'm getting at is it's an interesting one, and but it's also a pretty cool skill to have, because what happens is it really makes you able to, as you get better and better at it, really makes you be able to analyze and interpret situations a whole lot faster. You know what I mean? There's big arguments out there about controversial subjects or whatever, and I won't go into what they all are because I don't want to spur any controversy, but like, are these things good for you? Are these things bad for you? Are these things true? Are these things false? Is this a conspiracy? Is this not a conspiracy? You know? And sometimes as I read that stuff, I just want to say, like, I know, you know? And I've gotten to the point where, you know, I spend a lot of time digging into a lot of these topics to get a better feel for how I know these type of things. But, you know, sometimes I just know. At least I feel that way. Doesn't mean I'm always right. Could be wrong. You know, I'm not arrogant enough or prideful enough to think that. But I feel as of late that I have those little first instincts that I've been getting. They just tend to be right. And I want to say it's this discernment skill set that I've been kind of sharpening, right? And it really pays off, and it's really like a hack in life too, because, you know, then, you know, there's a lot of information always coming and going to the individual, and if you can just kind of look at something and say yay or nay, or kind of pick it apart very instantly, then you're saving yourself a lot of time, you know what I mean? Now, that also will frustrate a lot of people who, again, are looking for that, well, break it down, give me this, show me the link, show me the source, all this other kind of stuff. And don't worry, I get that way of thinking too, but I'm telling everybody out there that there is this thing, there is this inner knowing, there is this higher intelligence that you can tap into, there is this guidance, there is this Holy Spirit, there is this small, still voice within that is real, it exists, and the more you do something like the program that, you know, I'm doing, maybe certain meditations that are out there, etc., you really do tap into it, and it's a real thing, and it's a powerful thing, and I encourage everybody to kind of look into it some, and, you know, get familiar with ways to enhance it. Obviously, the development program Dr. Wilson talks about on his website is what I recommend. That's what I've been doing. That's the results that I've been seeing, and I know other people that are doing the same thing, getting similar results. So, yeah, just kind of wanted to share, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your day.